like and subscribe. Have you ever been drunk or high and came up with this truly amazing idea, but then became sober and realized it wasn't as amazing as you thought it was? If so, what was the idea? I made a soup sandwich while really high before. The soup obviously just destroyed the bread's integrity and just fell out the sandwich. That was the first time in my life I realized just how dumb I am. Once, while thoroughly drunk, I ordered a pizza, and it arrived overcooked. Crust was like dried asphalt, and the toppings blackened and singed. So I pitched the idea to my other drunk buddies, that pizza places should let their customers control the pizza ovens through the internet, so we can decide when it's done. Which then lead to an entire design your own pizza machine / website combo, where one could control exactly how much of each ingredient to add using robotic arms, and you could watch it cook live through an oven cam. Seemed brilliant at the time. I thought of something that I thought was the funniest. A video or comic where one guy takes a pepper packet, opens it, and pours it into his eyes. When his friend starts freaking out, he goes, haha, tricked you, it was actually salt. Okay, hear me out. Go to your local bar and get plastered. Then go to Lens Crafters and get your eyes checked. They will fix your double and blurry vision and give you a pair of glasses. So when you get drunk again you can put on your, wait for it, drunk goggles sense. I got really high once and went to record my thoughts in my voice recording app like I usually do. It wasn't until I went to save and title it did I realize that I had actually called a local pizza joint after hours and left them a voicemail. Turn signals on grocery carts. Beer rocks. When drinking at an outdoor place, using plastic cups, you put fancy rocks in your beer, so the cups don't blow over. Genius. Mine was similar. The theory was, the top half of the cup of beer tastes better than the bottom half, so we make cups that have the bottom half already full of something else. We invented smaller cups. I was on acid, and had a revelation, that I had to make the next Google. I have no idea what it means, to be the next Google, but regardless it felt like the best idea in the world. The feeling of checking my notes app the next day for the grand idea I had, and seeing the next gore or glow was hilarious. One of my philosophy professors told a joke about a philosopher having a dream in which he met Socrates, but quickly saw the proper rebuttal to his views, which Socrates conceded. Then he met Aristotle, and Descartes, and Kant, and Nietzsche, and Mill, and with each of them presented his contrary position successfully. He knew he was dreaming, but he thought I have to wake up enough to write this down. He managed to become conscious enough that he quickly scrawled the words down on some paper, then fell asleep again. The next morning he woke up, remembered what had happened, and excitedly grabbed the note. It read, yeah, that is what you say. Usually I make big plans that cost a lot of money and then promise sober people that we will do them. So they start to look forward to the plans. I sober up and regret all of my decisions yet still have to follow through. Most recent was that I promised my sister that I'd bring my daughter to visit her in Florida. $2,000 later, I have a sunburn. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. Ernest Hemingway. When a football match goes into extra time, they should add a second ball. If it gets to halftime without anyone scoring they add a third ball. I'm actually not sure this idea is a bad one. I thought I invented breakfast tacos. When I shared my invention with my friends they asked me if I intended the wheel to DDEUREURE. I ran upstairs and yelled at my husband why don't they make mittens for feet? And he said you mean socks? And I said oh yeah, socks. One time when I was tripping I wrote down this whole page of numbers and swore it was the answer. The answer to what I don't know lol I just kept saying it's all about the digits. The numbers Mason, what do they mean? Once while high, my friends came up with an online call center for people who have anxiety while high to call. It was named TripAdvisor. As teenagers, my friend and I used to get really stoned and go sit in this particular diner for hours and drink coffee until we sobered up. One time, two cops in uniform came in and sat down a few tables away and ordered some food. At first we were kind of paranoid, but they didn't seem to be paying us any attention. My friend was the type of guy who liked to do wacky just to be funny, especially on a dare. He was also a big proponent of marijuana legalization. Like, he talked about it all the time. I told him I thought it would be hilarious to go up and ask the cops their thoughts on marijuana legalization. We were both still pretty baked, and he thought it was a funny idea too, so on a whim he decided to do it. He took off his jacket and set it on the bench next to him, and walked calmly over to their table, and began talking with them. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the conversation appeared to be polite, and lasted a minute or two. He came back to the table with a big stoned grin on his face. Oh man, those cops seem okay to me. They both said they think weed should be legal, and it's a waste of their time to go after pot smokers. A little while later the cops finished their food and left. One of them even smiled and nodded to my friend on the way out. We watched them get into their patrol car and drive out of the parking lot. We stayed for about another half hour, and then left to catch the bus home. We got to the bus stop, and just as we both lit up a cigarette, a cop car pulled up with the same two cops inside. They had been sitting in the parking lot next door with their lights off waiting for us to come out of the diner. We obviously weren't old enough to be smoking cigarettes, and a check of our IDs confirmed that. They searched both of us, and found a 5-sack of weed, and a pipe in my friend's jacket. We both got tickets for underage smoking. He got cited for the pipe and marijuana, was given a court date, and taken home to his parents in the back of a police car. The whole story seemed so heartwarming and wholesome till you got caught. Hope it turned out alright in the end. I was thinking that kids these days need more time on the road to be better drivers, so maybe Uber should partner with driving education groups and like subsidize them, or pay the kids in college bonds, or whatever. Yeah, maybe hiring a bunch of terrible drivers for your taxi services isn't such a great idea. I have a running note on my phone with my ideas I have while intoxicated. I think my best one is what if there was a Queer Eye spin-off called Third Eye, where hippies and conspiracy theorists try to awaken people who are already happy with their lives. Most of them are just done with such highlights as future math will be cool and Pharaoh has a lot of cute animal behavior. Myself and two friends were extremely high and extremely hungry. We put all our money together and said that we would buy the most amount of food for the amount of money we had gathered. We had a total of £16. So our thought process was we could order 16 portions of chips, French fries for you Americans. We had to call the takeaway 3 times before they would believe that it wasn't a prank. We convinced them we were throwing a party. The takeaway finally delivered it, and myself and my other friend were too high to go to the door, so we made friend 3 go by himself. All of the lights were off and there was no music playing, so the delivery driver delivered 16 portions of chips to one man alone from his perspective. Needless to say, 16 portions of chips is too much food between 3 people. Imagine Discord online voice chat. My idea was that you could create subrooms within the current channel. My thought process was, I want to have a conversation with one person, but still want to kinda hear what my other friends are conversing about with other people in the channel, but I don't want their conversation to interrupt my conversation and vice versa. So my thinking was that you join like a sub-channel where everyone in that sub-channel is at 100% volume and everyone else in the parent channel is at like 30% volume. So you could all be in the same parent channel, but not really be a hindrance to one another, but you could still sorta hear them, if you wanted to. It seems like a good idea if you're high, but then you realize it's just kinda pointless lol. I thought I was onto a massive breakthrough. Edit, well this went mental. The people have spoken. Discord. Make it happen. Thanks everyone. Once I tripped on shrooms and thought of this amazing song, like truly amazing beat and lyrics. I tried recording it on my phone, so I did not forget. Then next day I went to check my phone. Turns out I tripped so hard that I imagined that I recorded it on my phone, but in reality my phone was turned off the whole time. Till this day I cannot remember that tune. But for sure it would have been a Billboard hit. I know this, I know what you were asking, but it was the only situation I could relate to. Edit. Wow guys, thanks for the awards and upvotes. This is my most well received reply ever. Who would have thought get true stories would go this far? Not me, but Paul McCartney. The first time he got high he apparently discovered the meaning of life and immediately went to write it down. When he woke up the next morning he looked at the paper, and it said there are 7 levels. When I did shrooms, I came up with the absolutely genius idea that NASA should employ young children and send them to space for missions, because they have more natural curiosity and aren't jaded yet by adulthood, and they might notice things that a more experienced astronaut would miss, because they'll look from a different perspective. I was convinced I needed to email NASA right away and tell them about my brilliant epiphany. I was high. I made some killer mac and cheese and I saw that I had some bacon. So I cooked up the bacon and cut it into small pieces and put it on the mac and cheese. It was so god heavenly that I forgot bacon bits, and bacon bits on mac and cheese already existed. In my fit of excitement I texted my friend my totally brand new never done before creation, and I was told that it already existed. I thought of an incredible idea for a story when someone wakes up in a hotel and everyone knows the protagonist, but the protagonist has no memory and does not remember anyone. Then I sobered up and discovered that it is a boring premise with nowhere to go. Plot twist, it's really a psychological experiment to see how easily a human will accept a false identity based on other people treating them as if that identity belonged to them. Will the person just accept that they are who everyone says they are? Or will they fight to figure out their true identity? My wife and I got this genius idea after smoking a fatty to create the next big hit in the snack world. Cupcakes. A cupcake made from mini crepes stacked on top of one another, topped with whipped cream and strawberries. Me and my friend were pretty drunk and my 17 IQ self thought, hey, if I carry you, and you carry me, we can float my dumbers. Always felt free throws in basketball slowed the game down too much. Felt instead they should have dunks instead, where the player that was fouled has a running start from the 3-point line and the one who committed the foul is at the basket defending against the dunk. I suppose this could turn into an endless loop of fouling. Banana rental. I thought people would love to rent bananas to display on their counters and or coffee tables. I was absolutely certain I had just hit on an idea that would let me retire early. You're behind your time, unfortunately. People used to rent pineapples to show off to their friends. Buy a bunch of those tile or apple trackers and work as a police mechanic. I would then place the trackers on all the police cars and start an underground business letting criminals know where police are exactly and give them a live feed of where to avoid cops after a crime. Realized later that just having a job as a mechanic would pay plenty. Here's a good one from my list of ideas. Dumpsters, trash cans, and dives. Live a stream dumpster diving, like American Picker/Storage Wars, but completely bull. Pricing guesses with fake accents. I don't drink or smoke, but a friend of mine was drunk and picked up a guitar, started playing, and thought he wrote the song Walk by Pantera. Not sure if/not I was affected at the time, but when much younger I theorized a universal language. Then I found out about Esperanto. Was like 100 years too late. The vertical bar adora, e. Flannel bro tanks. For when you want your guns to breathe, but want everyone to know you're ready to party. A thing you put on the laptop charger thing that gets hot, which keeps your cheese dip hot. the TV show Cheaters, except with stray cats. Candid cameras catching cats being unfaithful with other neighborhood cats and a human host interviewing the cats getting cheated on, just like the TV show. Still kinda want this to be a thing in a sober mindset. I had a great idea about what was needed to get all the European countries together in a union. Then I sobered up. I once thought that they should make decaf coffee for people who want to drink coffee, but don't want to be caffeinated. It was momentary, but gave myself a chuckle for coming up with the idea. Not my idea, but was out with a group of friends for New Year's countdown, and one of them told me she wished she could get on a plane and head to another country, whose time zone is behind, and have another countdown party again. The relatively sober me was like, alright, I think you have had too much, but if you own a private plane or SMTH I don't see why not, so not that bad after all. Guy across the hall from me freshman year of college got really drunk and came into the common area where I was hanging out and told me he had a brilliant idea to get rich. Yeah, I've heard of 8-minute abs, right? Hear me out, hear me out. What if we made 7-minute abs? Get people just as ripped and save them a minute. That was the whole pitch. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.